You talk to your cat, probably more than you talk to some people. Good morning, are you hungry? Come here, I love you. You say all of it, every day, and your cat looks at you, sometimes directly, sometimes with one eye open from a nap, and you wonder what any of it actually means to them. The answer is not what most people expect, it is not nothing, but it is also not what you think. What your cat hears when you speak is a layered experience, part sound, part emotion, part years of accumulated pattern recognition. And understanding it changes how your cat understands that you are talking to it at all. They hear the tone before they hear anything else. Here's the first thing to understand. Your cat is not processing your words the way another human would. It is not parsing grammar. It is not building sentences. But it is doing something that is, in its own way, just as sophisticated. Your cat is reading your emotional state through the acoustic properties of your voice, the pitch, the rhythm, the tension or softness behind each word, before any other information registers. This is not a limitation. It is a superpower. Cats are exquisitely tuned to vocal emotion in a way that most owners never fully appreciate. Research has confirmed that cats respond differently to calm, warm voices versus sharp, elevated, or stressed ones. Not just in the moment, but cumulatively. A cat that lives in a home where voices are frequently raised, where tension is common in the background, develops a baseline stress response that shapes its entire experience of that environment. And a cat that lives with someone who speaks to it consistently in a low, warm, unhurried voice learns something equally important, that this person's sound means safety. The voice itself becomes an anchor, a signal, delivered dozens of times a day, that everything is okay. You are not just talking to your cat, you are painting the emotional atmosphere of its world every time you open your mouth. They recognize their name, and they know when you mean it. In 2019, researchers at Sophia University in Japan published a study that settled something cat owners had long suspected. Cats know their names. In controlled experiments, cats consistently responded to the sound of their own name, with ear rotations, head turns, and changes in tail movement, even when the name was spoken by a stranger, even when it was embedded in a list of similar sounding words, and even when the tone was kept deliberately flat to remove emotional cues. They were not responding to the sound in general. They were responding to that specific sound because they had learned through repetition and association that it meant something directed specifically at them. But the study revealed something more nuanced than simple name recognition. Cats were significantly more responsive when their name was spoken with the particular intonation their primary owner used. The pattern of how their person said their name, the specific rise and fall, the habitual rhythm of it, had been encoded as a distinct signal, not just the word, the version of the word that belonged to them. Your cat does not just know its name, it knows the way you say it, and that version, your version, means something to it that no other person's pronunciation of the same word quite replicates. They understand more words than you realize. Name recognition is just the beginning. Cats who live in rich verbal environments, homes where people talk to them regularly, where certain words are used consistently in the context of specific events, build associative vocabularies that most owners significantly underestimate. Hungry, walk, treat, outside, bed, come, no. These are not words your cat understands conceptually, the way a human does, but they are sounds that have been paired consistently and repeatedly with specific outcomes. And your cat has mapped those pairings with a precision that should impress you. When you say the word that has always preceded food appearing, your cat's body responds before the food is visible. When you say the word that has always preceded something it dislikes, its posture shifts. When you say a word associated with play, its pupils dilate slightly and its ears orient forward. This is not language comprehension in the human sense, but it is something real, something learned, and something that accumulates over the entire course of your relationship. Every word you use consistently in a consistent context is a word your cat is quietly filing away. The vocabulary of your relationship is larger than you know. Before we continue, imaksame, if this is changing how you think about every conversation you have ever had with your cat, and you have not subscribed yet, now is the moment. We post content like this every week, the kind that makes you look at your cat completely differently. It is free and takes one tap. Subscribe and keep watching, because the next part is the one most people find most surprising. They hear the difference between being talked to and being talked at. This one is subtle, but it is real. Cats are sensitive to the direction of social attention in ways that researchers are only beginning to fully document. They track eye contact. They notice body orientation. They register whether a vocalization is aimed at them specifically or is simply ambient sound in the environment. When you talk to your cat, turning toward it, making eye contact, modulating your voice in the way people naturally do when addressing another individual, your cat picks up on all of those signals simultaneously. The voice, the gaze, the orientation of your body all arrive together as a coherent social message. This is directed at you. When you talk on the phone, or to another person in the room, or simply narrate your day without orienting toward your cat, the same words in a similar tone produce a different response. Your cat may listen, it may glance over, but it does not engage in the same way, because the social cues that signal directed address are absent. Your cat knows when you are talking to it versus near it, and the times you are truly talking to it, looking at it, orienting toward it, giving it your focused vocal attention, those moments register differently. They land. They count in a way that background speech simply does not. They respond to baby talk, and science knows why. Most people naturally shift into a higher pitch, slower pace, and more melodic rhythm when they speak to their cats. It happens without thinking. The voice softens. The sentences shorten. The intonation becomes more expressive. This is called pet-directed speech, and it is not just a human quirk. It appears to be genuinely effective. A 2022 study from the Université Paris-Nanterre found that cats were significantly more attentive and responsive to their owners speaking in pet-directed speech than in the normal adult tone used for human conversation. They turned toward the voice more, they maintained attention longer, they were more likely to approach. And critically, this effect was specific to the owner. When a stranger used the same high-pitched, melodic tone, the cat showed significantly less response. The combination of the familiar voice and the specific register you use when you are being warm and playful and directly engaged, that combination is uniquely compelling. Your cat does not just like when you talk to it, it likes the specific way you talk to it when you are fully present with it. That version of your voice, soft, warm, a little silly, is one of the most recognizable and most welcome sounds in your cat's world. What they hear that you never intended to say. And here's the part that stays with most people after this video ends. Your cat is listening to you in ways you are not aware of and did not plan for. It hears the quality of your breath when you sit down beside it, whether it is the slow exhalation of someone settling into rest or the shallow, tight breathing of someone carrying stress they have not put down yet. It hears the difference between the footsteps of someone who is calm and the footsteps of someone who is preoccupied. It has cataloged the rhythm of your movements well enough to know, before you enter a room, something about the state you are in. It hears the silence between your words, whether you pause with ease or with tension, whether the quiet of the room feels settled or held. All of this is information, and your cat is processing it constantly, building and updating a model of you that is more detailed and more accurate than most people ever imagine. You are never not communicating with your cat, even when you say nothing. Even when you think it is not listening, it is always, in its own way, paying attention. You have been having a conversation with your cat every single day. Far more of one than you realized. Now you know what it has been hearing. Drop a comment and tell me the word your cat reacts to most, and click the next video. See you there.